Oh, we're live. Excellent. Welcome. Good evening. How are you doing? Okay, tonight's subject. Burst the bubble, beat the booze, and set yourself free. What is that all about? Well, we'll talk about that in a second once we've got a few people coming to join us. If I look away, it's because I'm checking my screen or my notes. Oh, we've got one person watching. Hello, one person. How are you doing? We're just waiting for a few more people to jump onto the call tonight, and then we'll get started. The subject is burst your bubble, beat the booze, and set yourself free. Oh, that person's gone again, but never mind. So a couple more minutes until people jump on, and then we'll just kick off, because if they're busy, it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. So people might be doing other things, in which case they can watch this at some other time. So give it another 30 seconds by my clock, and we'll see how we get on. Got plenty of notes. I've got my water, so we should be ready to go. Okay, it looks like it's just going to be me and the camera tonight, and not a problem. So what do I mean about bursting your bubble to set yourself free? This is something that hypnotists, hypnotherapists have been doing for an awful long time. So it's indirectly related to this thing that's suddenly becoming very, very popular called liminal thinking. And the way to explain this is there's a very, very old story about the 4 blind guys and an elephant. Essentially what happens is, going back into ancient times before people were familiar with what an elephant was, and yes, that used to be the case for a lot of people in a lot of places around the world, a king brought an elephant into town and got 4 blind people from around the town and brought them into the town square, put the elephant in front of them, put one person by the elephant's tail, one person by the elephant's trunk, one person by the elephant's ear, and one person by the side. And so he said, right, okay, go ahead and have a feel and tell me what you think. So one person said, oh God, this is a rope. This is kind of like a bell pull kind of thing. Another one said, no, you're completely wrong. It feels a bit like a snake. And of course, he was holding the trunk. Another one said, no, this is a kind of fan, you know, one of those big things they used to have to sort of like keep people cool before there was air conditioning. And then the fourth one was touching the side of the elephant and went, oh my God, this is a wall, it's a huge, massive wall. And of course, they were all looking at an elephant or feeling an elephant, but they could only see their bit, they could only feel their bit of the elephant. And what you need to do, what I'm talking about tonight, is see the elephant as our reality, everybody's reality, because as I mentioned last night, we all have this thing called a map of reality, yeah? How we see the world. And that comes from our experiences, what we've seen, what we've heard, what our friends have told us, all that kind of thing. And we build up to this pyramid of experiences, observations, what friends tell us, what we've seen, into our beliefs, what we actually believe. And this is where the bubble comes in, because that bubble becomes like a protective zone. And it protects us, in a sense, from all these outside influences and different opinions and different ideas. And this is where we have a problem, because a new idea comes along, and if it doesn't match our map of reality, if it doesn't match what we believe, what our friends tell us and all that kind of thing, then we just immediately reject it because it doesn't fit. It's a non-fitting system. And the reason I'm talking about this is, if you think about alcohol, and if you've tried to quit and you've had a few occasions where you've had to go back to day one, or you're thinking about quitting, a lot of the problems stem from what you know and what you've heard. I mean, if you look in any of the groups about sobriety and quitting addiction, you'll see lots and lots of posts that are more or less saying the same thing. This doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, only this works. And the problem with that, it then becomes a global thought, if you like. It becomes something that you believe because this person said it and that person said it. And because they're in your world, you believe what they're saying and you reject any other ideas. So when somebody else comes along and goes, actually, no, that's not the way to look at things. There's a different way of looking at things. You go, no, that's garbage. Sorry, not listening, not listening. A bit like a kid. You know, when you'd say to a child, right, off you go, you've got to go to bed. And the child will go, not listening, not listening, not listening. That's exactly what we do as adults. We just don't put our hands over our ears or anything like that to get rid of the noise of what people say. We just simply reject it. Hi, Holly, how's it going? You well? And this can make your life really, really difficult, especially if you're trying to make a change in your life, because you're surrounded by all these beliefs and feelings and the way you see things, and it's very hard for you to accept any new ideas that are coming in from different directions, and you can get stuck. And if you're not careful, you can end up in this like vicious cycle of, doing this for a few days and then temptation comes along and you're back to day one doing the same thing. I think it was Einstein that said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing day after day after day after day and expecting a different result. It is just not possible. I'm sorry, but if you've tried X, Y or Z and it doesn't work, and you try X, Y or Z again and it doesn't work, and you try X, Y and Z again for the third time and it doesn't work, basically you're on a hiding to nothing. You have to make a change. So how do we make that change? What you need to do is you need to go back inside yourself. You need to ask yourself some different kind of questions. You have to first of all suspend judgment. You've got to say, okay, that idea doesn't normally fit with my map of reality, but maybe it's got some justification, some possibilities behind it. I need to study it. I need to look at it. And that's what you need to do. You need to actually go out there, take this new idea, check it out on Google, talk to people about it, get different views, talk to different people, maybe people that you wouldn't have talked to before about something, to get a different perspective. I mean, you've heard this phrase, get a different perspective, get a different view, open your mind. It's all the same kind of thing, yeah? Basically, you've got to go inside and try and figure out how this new idea fits. I mean, that's what we do as hypnotists, yeah? What we do is we work with someone who has an issue, and what we do about it is we actually go and talk to that person and say, look, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go and talk to your subconscious and find out why you're doing this thing, why you're drinking, what made you start, okay? And then we have the conversation with the subconscious and we make the changes to the beliefs at the source, if you like. And then when we've done that, we come back out, we check with the clients and make sure that the change has happened. And that's it. It's literally as simple as that. In about an hour or so, it's done. And you can do this yourself. You can do this exactly the same process. You've just got to find somewhere quiet and sit down and start talking to yourself and figuring out what it is you need to change to make the change that you're going through. We live our lives on autopilot. Imagine you're driving to the office or driving to the same supermarket. What do? You get in your car, you put your seatbelt on, you turn the engine on, you pick up the steering wheel and off you go. And then you get to your destination and a lot of times you don't remember how you got there because you've just driven for so often that you're driving on autopilot, which is kind of okay because if something comes into your field of vision that might cause an accident, your brain is able to switch very, very quickly to help you avoid that accident. But living your life on autopilot is not a good idea, because you go through this fixed view, this sort of tunnel vision of how life is supposed to be and how you are supposed to be and how you are supposed to act, that you can miss out on all these opportunities. Excuse me, I need a drink. So let's say, for example, you want to make a change and you want to try and change, you want to stop drinking or you want to stay stopped, yeah? The problem that you can have is if you're running on autopilot, as you're trying to stop drinking, all the other things that would happen in your head, like I've got to go shopping this afternoon, I've got to pick up the kids from school, I've got to pay that bill, I need to phone my friend, I need to do X, I need to do Y, I need to Z. All of this stuff keeps going in because you're on autopilot, and it's distracting you from your main point, and that main point being is quitting drinking, stopping, yeah? But because all these distractions are coming in because you're on autopilot, it becomes really, really difficult. So what you need to do is you need to switch off the autopilot temporarily, yeah, and sit back and take stock and ask yourselves questions. This is why we use things like mindfulness and meditation and relaxation and deep breathing. These all kind of sort of lead to the same thing, which is getting yourself to come into the moment, into right now, so that you can take stock and ask yourself those questions. It's a very, very simple process, but sometimes it's not easy because we've all got lots and lots of things going on in life, and it is really difficult, really challenging to actually switch those things off. But you need to do it, because if you really want to make a change in your life, you have to get in there and dig deep, switch on the torchlight and start switching around. Let me just check if I've got any messages, comments, have a quick look. Okay, so what's next? Any questions before I carry on? Any questions or comments about what I've said? That squeaking noise, if you can hear it in the background there, is my friend Jake. He's what's called a dago, which is a South American squirrel kind of thing. His friend Elwood died the other day, so I think he's still sort of trying to root around trying to find him, but he's making a bit of a mess at the minute, but never mind. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. I'm a hypnotherapist and I help people quit drinking, get sober and stay sober, and obviously using hypnotherapy. If you would like to book a strategy session with me to try to figure out if we can work together, if I can help you, just drop a comment in the comments below or drop me a PM afterwards and I'll go through them and check out and see if I can help anyone. So, recap. We need to burst the bubble in order to get to where we want to be, particularly when we're trying to quit an addiction. What is the bubble? The bubble is our life's experiences up to this point. The things we learned when we were growing up, that map of reality we were talking about, what our friends have told us, our network of friends, our circle of life around us. And we build this bubble as we're growing up, and it continues to be built and stabilised as we're adults, yeah? The advantage of that bubble is it makes us feel safe and comfortable in the zone that we're in. The disadvantage is that any new idea that's coming in to this area doesn't get accepted, or it becomes very, very difficult to accept a new idea if it doesn't fit that way we've seen things, it doesn't fit with the information that's in our bubble. To break the bubble, you need to look inside yourself and accept that there are different ways of seeing the world. There are different prospects, there are different views. And the next thing is you've got to, just take it in and think and ask yourself the questions you need to ask. So that is pretty much it from me tonight. I've just got one thing to ask. If you know someone that would find this kind of information helpful, that has a problem with drinking, that does need some help, reach out to them, tell them I exist, get them to, maybe you might not want to tag them for obvious reasons, but you can get them to PM me, or just get them to, you know, friend me on Facebook or whatever. It doesn't really matter, but just reach out to them, because you will be helping somebody and maybe changing somebody's life. So every day, 7 days a week at 8 o'clock my time, which is GMT, I'll be here. If you've got any questions or comments or any subjects or topics that you'd like me to cover, just give me a shout. Thank you for watching, and I will speak to you soon. Bye now.